play, I gotta win it. I'll just take the blame, cause I'm the one who probably did it. We should call it preaching, it's too deep to say I spit it. We can talk all day about the things you should but didn't. I'ma run it up and be with numbers not invented yet.
Welcome aboard the Uncommon Show. My name's Tyson Tully. Let's talk about being a dreamer. And then after that, let's check in with the Thin Reaper for this week's Range Report. I'm going to give you a couple of sure things you can line your pocket with. And along the way, I got some uncommon takes on the most common news. So being a dreamer, man, what does that mean? I've been thinking about this a lot, because I feel I am a massive dreamer. I think it would be hard to find anybody that's a bigger dreamer than me. It's almost to a fault sometimes. But I decided, let's boil it down, right? Well, what is a dreamer? Hit up Webster's dictionary about it. And they kept it pretty simple. A dreamer is someone who dreams. So I had to do more research. I had to figure out, well, what is a dream, Mr. Webster? So I looked that up. And I found a very interesting definition. A dream is a strongly desired goal or purpose. I think that last part is massive. A strongly desired goal as a dream is obvious. But the purpose thing, a purpose is not a goal. A goal is something you want. A purpose is something you have to do because deep in you, you feel it's what you should be doing. It's a purpose. That to me is where I latch onto. Because what you'll find is that there are a lot of people who had a lot of really big ideas and they never even tried to pursue anything. And now they're really unhappy and they don't know what to do with their lives. And they almost feel like maybe they have no purpose. And that's really, really sad. I believe it's humankind's purpose to dream. I mean, think about it. How did we get to where we are today? We were just essentially animals at one point. We weren't as civilized as we are today. We didn't have the things we had. You know, dreaming is what led to the wheel. It's what led to the plane. It's what led to artificial intelligence. It's what led to everything that we use. Dreaming. Because someone thought to themselves, I can do it better. Someone in them felt that they had a purpose to make something better, pushing limits, finding true potential, maximizing that potential. To me, that's what dreaming is. To me, that's what we're supposed to be doing. And I got a lot of experience with wanting to do things and not having them come true. Because like I said, I'm a huge dreamer, you know? Like every kid, when I first picked up a ball, I wanted to be an MLB player. And then I could play football and I wanted to be an NFL player. And then I ultimately fell in love with basketball and I wanted to be an NBA player. You couldn't convince me I wasn't going to be an NBA player. It was my destiny. It was my purpose. It was my dream. Obviously that didn't happen because I'm sitting here talking to a camera. I'm not in the NBA, in case you were wondering. Well, then I wanted to make music. I still do want to make music. But these are all things. These are dreams. These are goals. These are just things that I wanted to do with my life because I feel a greater purpose. And I had to think to myself, okay, when my head hits the pillow at night and I can't sleep because I feel like something's missing, what is most days I'm not pursuing any kind of dream. I may be working really hard. I may be successful in the eyes of a lot of people, but what dreams am I pursuing? And that's a big deal to me. So I had to boil it down again. Okay, well, Tyson, you got a lot of dreams. You got a lot going on in that head of yours. What is it that you want to do? And ultimately what I realized is I just want an opportunity to express myself creatively. I even notice it in my regular job. If I find a way to do something that was thinking outside the box, if it was creating something, if it was making something new, brainstorming, business planning, whatever it is, I love that because I love creating. I love getting creative. So I thought to myself, okay, well, if creativity, expressing that is the thing that makes you feel fulfilled, How are we going to do that? What is the easiest way, or not, I shouldn't say easiest. What's the best way for you to do that most consistently where you aren't limited by any kind of resources? And I thought to myself, I got a phone, I got a camera stand, I got a microphone, and I got a mouth that loves to run. Sounds like I need to make an internet show. So here we are, The Uncommon Show, the show for dreamers, the show for people who know there's more for them out there and they want someone to explain that it's okay to not exactly know where you're going, to just know we're focusing on this step at one, we're focused on step 1, then we'll worry about step 2. We're not thinking about step 10. We're thinking about step 1, and we're attacking it with everything we got. We're going to do that together. This is the show for dreamers. If you're going to resonate with anything in this show, it's going to be this, because I promise you, I will always have your back, and I will always tell you to chase your dreams. Always. I think it's time we talk a little bit about nightmares. So we're going to go over to the Thin Reaper on an update that is the hell of amateur golf. Welcome to the Range Report, the weekly segment on Sure Things where we talk golf. We're talking golf tournaments. We're talking golf players. We're talking golf equipment. We're going to talk golf swings. We're going to talk anything golf related. Why? Because I can. This week, we're going to talk about the Internet Invitational, the thing that's probably taken most amateur golfers by storm these past few weeks, because it was the biggest thing in YouTube golf history. Barstool Sports and Bobda Sports, they did a $1.7 million pot golf tournament released only on YouTube called the Internet Invitational. They had all kinds of different personalities there, all of people who are either golf content creators or just internet personalities that have a kind of a, I guess they're into golf a little bit. 48 people. It was essentially the Ryder Cup meets Survivor put on YouTube. And it went well. It was really, really cool to watch. A lot of fun to see different personalities in the mix. It was cool to see how they threw the format at them when they got there, so no one really knew what was going on, and it was all in the moment, and people had to build relationships on the spot. But then the next day you were turned around against that person that you just won with. So it was great. I think they did a really good job of that. Probably no reason to ever change that, because that just makes it much more electric. When you have so many different golfers, it's hard to just do like an individual stroke play tournament, because some guys are really good, or some people are really good, some people really aren't that good at all. So how do you find an accurate handicap to actually do that? But the team format was fantastic. They did it at Paynes Valley, which is Tiger's place. I think he designed at least the 18 hole. He might even design the par 3 course too. But they got the par 3 course involved. Really, really cool place. So I enjoyed watching it. There are some controversies, though. If you watched it, you know. If you didn't watch it, maybe you saw a couple clips. There's a big controversy that everybody's talking about. There's one that I don't want to let die. It shouldn't be forgotten about. And that's that Luke Kwan is a clown. He's a tool. You can ask my brother. I have been saying for a little while now that he just annoyed the heck out of me when it came to his YouTube videos, because he does the classic great golfer thing, which is if he puts it to 4 feet, it should have been 2 feet. If he puts it to 2 feet, it should have just went in the hole. And it's just so annoying to listen to somebody complain about being the best golfer on the field constantly. It's gross. It's boring. I know he only does YouTube because he has the resources to work it, and he's essentially just milking it because he didn't have what it takes to make it as a legit professional golfer. These are all facts, if you ask me. $1.7 million on the line, folks. And day one, he doesn't show up to his tee time. He sleeps in. And he's got some excuse about how he lives in a different country and blah, 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 blah. Okay? I don't think he got there the day before. I don't even think he got there 2 days before. I think he was there for a couple of days before this event. And even still, I don't care. You find a way to make sure you're awake. If you have problems waking up, you set multiple alarms. If you have problems waking up through multiple alarms, you ask a buddy. He slept in a condo or something like that with 3 other guys. guys that were on his team. He could have said, hey, I know I'm going to have a hard time waking up. I know you guys play a lot earlier than me. Wake me up. I'm going to need it. So Luke Kwon, you're a clown, okay? You seem like a nice guy, but you're a clown. And I hope you never get invited to the Internet Invitational again, because that was ridiculous. The other controversies was a bit of a cheating scandal. They allowed rangefinders, but they didn't allow slope. Yardage was allowed, slope was not. So basically the laser calculates for, that's 130 yards away, but because it's downhill, it's actually playing like 121 yards. That's a big deal. There was controversy that said one of the guys, I don't know his full name, but he went by Mo, was using the slope. I think he was. I think the whole thing was weird. He grabs his rangefinder when the controversy's coming out. He looks at it weird. It looks like he flips the switch. I don't know. At the end of the day, you had to take him at his word. He does seem like a decent guy. And he said, hand to God, I didn't do it. I don't want to call anybody a liar, but I don't think you're telling the truth, Mo. I think it wasn't on most of the time. I think it was on at some point. And I think the reason you grabbed that rangefinder and looked at it is because you had to go, is it? Because it was at one point. And you're kind of getting cute after the fact. I saw it. You were on a podcast with Garrett Clark and you're saying, my slope was on the first hole, and then FP asked about it and we got the mass text. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to be cute. And you know what? Content is content. That's the world that you live in. And I don't blame you. But I'm sorry, Mo. I think your slope was on, at least at one point. I don't think you should be banned. I think maybe your rangefinder should be banned. I don't think you should be allowed to work a rangefinder in the Internet Invitational should you ever be back. The other one, your teammate on the last day, was Paige Spiranac. I think that's how you say her name. Accused of maybe improving her lie. Look, again, I don't want to call anybody a liar, but usually when you call somebody out for doing something wrong and their first reaction is to cry and to say, I didn't know you couldn't do that, and to say, oh my gosh, everybody thinks I'm cheating, and play this victim card, I would say 10 times out of 10 that person was guilty, knew they were guilty, and they were just trying to find a way around it. That's just my perspective. Now, maybe you're the one person ever who immediately starts bawling and playing the victim card when you're called out for something, and you truly didn't know that something was wrong with what you were doing. I don't know. It's interesting that you literally said to a competitor, guess you don't play a lot of competitive golf, which, by the way, you couldn't even stand on that you said it. You said it, he called you out for saying it, and you said, did I say that? This whole playing dumb act, I get it. It's useful. It's tactical. It works, especially when you look like Paige Spiranac. It works. But that right there is all the evidence I need to know that when you start crying when you're called out for improving your lie, which you did, I know you're not telling the truth. Prove me wrong. You can't really, because it's your word versus mine. I get it. But I'm just saying, you couldn't even stand on the fact that you said something that you literally said on a microphone. On video, you were recorded saying, I guess you don't play a lot of competitive golf. And then when called out, you couldn't even stand on that. That's why I don't believe you. I think you knew you were improving your lie. I think you didn't think people would actually say something. And you still lost, which is, I guess the ball don't lie. That's playground justice right there. Maybe you guys still would have lost because the better player was on the other team in Brad Dahlke. I don't know. But I think there's way too much controversy for the golf gods to let you guys win, which is unfortunate for Mr. Frankie Borelli, because ultimately he was the one person that wasn't accused of any kind of cheating on your team. And unfortunately, he had to deal with the wrath of the golf gods. Everybody who watched knows the Internet Invitational ended in the most YouTube golf fashion ever. What you don't get with the pros, what you don't get in the majors, is guys screwing up and giving the win to the other team. In the Internet Invitational, it's down to the 18th hole. A chip and a putt likely sends it into extra holes where anything can happen. And a young man by the name of Frankie Borelli sculls a chip over the green into the water. They're in killing their chances and giving the victory to the other team. Heartbreaking to see, absolutely heartbreaking, but a truly amazing moment. For the first Internet Invitational to end that way, man, you just can't write it up any better. It was great to have that drama, to have this thing that a guy like me can sit here and talk about as if he knows a thing or two, and then it still end with a guy sculling a shot over the green into the water and just giving the victory to the other team. Now, I think it was only $1 million that got split amongst the 3 winners, which only $1 million is an insane thing for me to say. But 1.7 million, I think, was the total amount in the pot because they had some skins matches going on. So anybody that got money there got good money. But there were a couple guys that made really good money. And I should use this opportunity to give you a little spoiler. The 3 guys that won, Brad Dahlke, Barstool Beef, and Francis Ellis, I think, of Barstool, they played great. They played well together. But the big story is Beef. You know, rest in peace, Beef. He passed away, I think, only a couple days before the first video of the Internet Invitational came out, which is truly sad that he didn't get to see it. But it's awesome that he won, because then it was sort of like a tribute to him. I know his family got to see it. They were probably very proud. It sounds like he did some great things with the money to help his family. So, you know, it's a great ending to something that was really kind of tragic when it came down to how it all ended and who won it. It does make it a little bit better that a guy who seemed to be a really good character guy, and even though he couldn't live long enough to see the end result of the product, you know, the money went to a good cause, because he was asked before the match was over, what would you spend the money on? And his first answer was charity, and then I'll probably pay off my mom's house. He didn't know he was going to die when he said that, folks. It's beautiful. It's truly beautiful. And I mean, that's all jokes aside. The guy seems like a class act, and may he rest in peace, and, you know, thoughts and prayers out to his family. But I'm also going to use this opportunity to give you a sure thing. Since we have the sure thing segment later in the show, I'm going to give you a sure thing ahead of time. I was not at the first Internet Invitational, and I probably won't be at the second, but I will be at the third, and you can take that to the bank. That's this week's Range Report. I'm the Thin Reaper. Goodbye. Thank you for that. Hopefully he doesn't get us sued. I'd like to keep that segment a part of the show, because I love golf. Can we get serious for a second? I want to talk about these racist AI videos that are on everybody's For You page. I have checked multiple sources, okay? I wanted to make sure it wasn't just me seeing these horrible things. I've checked. Everybody's got them. And if you don't have very racist, very obviously AI videos on your For You page of whatever social media you're on, mostly Instagram, grow up. I truly think you're not an adult if you're not seeing these super racist videos. I think it's a government attack, frankly. I don't think anybody's actually making them. I don't think whatever you like is causing it. I think it's being planted on everybody's phone. As funny as some of them are, some of them need to be stopped, okay? Some of them are just cheap. They're just weak stereotypes, and they're just lame. Some of them are really good. A lot of them are not, and they need to be stopped, okay? People are way too comfortable being racist. And look, there's an argument to be said that racism in the rest of the world is not as bad as it is in the United States. And you're probably right. But to use that as if it's human nature to be racist, I don't buy that. I don't buy that one bit. I think it's human nature to judge the person right in front of you. And I think that's just survival. But when you get to the point where it doesn't matter if someone's in front of you, you're just referring to entire races of people as slurs, that's not human nature, that's hate. And that's where the problem lies. You can't defend that, okay? You can't actually refer to groups of people as hateful comments in a serious manner. You know, jokes are jokes. If you're going to make jokes in the comfort of your own home with your friends and people you know you're okay with talking a certain way, have at it. And frankly, if someone records you when you're speaking in confidence and they leak it out as if you were talking serious and you're joking around, I think the only crime there is that someone betrayed your trust. I don't think it's a crime to maybe say a little edgy joke when there's only a few people around and you felt safe. I don't think that's a big deal. But some people are taking it a little too far. I was on Instagram recently. I came across this young lady who very clearly has a podcast. She does the thing, microphone, video, and she's reacting to the video. She does that thing, And in her bio, she was talking about opposing feminist beliefs. I'm not going to make any comments about what my beliefs are on feminism on the first episode, but she did make some decent points. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give you a follow. And then next thing you know, she's posting videos where she's reacting to videos with Black people in them, and she's using a word, not the word, you know the word I'm talking about, but she's using a different word that was wild. I mean, to where I was listening to the video alone at my home, and when she said the word, I hit mute because I didn't want anybody to hear what I was listening to. It made me uncomfortable. And not because I'm some sissy that can't handle certain words. I just don't think it's okay to post yourself talking like that. You're gross. You're lame. You're lousy. It's silly. It's really silly. And that's why I'm not going to say this person's name. I'm sure there's multiple young ladies out there who are saying crazy things about people simply to get clicks. Just be better, The problem with people with right-wing beliefs is that they're viewed as hateful. And there are hateful people on the right. How I look at it, if there's the whole spectrum, right? Right-handed, the right-sided people, these are the hateful ones. Left-sided people, those are the hateful ones. All these people right here, center's still there. We got all these people right here. These people are not hateful. But these people, they're looked at as hateful. You know why? Because when these people are making an argument, these people like to go, oh, I got a fact that debunks that. I got a fact that debunks that. I got 4 more facts that debunk that, because you're an idiot. You just lost. You lost your composure. You didn't stay classy. You got hateful. You insulted somebody. Even if you made the right point, no one's going to hear it because you had to dunk on them. And look, I get it. I love dunking on people. I've done it for real. It's a lot of fun. I've also been in situations where I can tell I'm picking somebody apart with my words because they don't have any real arguments. They only have feelings, and I'm tearing them up. And then I give my delivery and I go, dang it, Tyson. At the end of the day, the goal should be when you're debating with someone to maybe open up their mind, and you're never going to open up anybody's mind to anything if you're using insults, if you're using slurs, if you're just trying to get clicks because you lob an alley-oop up to yourself and dunk on somebody. It's entertaining, sure. We're never going to get through things as a society if a certain group of people is always viewed as hateful because they have to dunk on the other side. Please, 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 always stay classy. The high road is mandatory. At the Uncommon Show, we are the high road. Stay on the high road, okay? Facts lose value when you use insults to share them. You can take that to the bank. That's another sure thing. And to close all this up, I'm reminded of a great semi-professional athlete who had a ring that said ELE, everybody love everybody. And I think we could all take that. We can all learn from Mr. Jackie Moon and understand that if everybody loved everybody, everybody would be a lot better off. So we've been talking pretty serious now for a little bit. Well, let's get serious about our money and check in on this week's Sure Things. Welcome to Sure Things, the weekly segment where we talk guarantees in the sports world, the economy, the pop culture, anything that we feel like making predictions on, we're going to predict. And frankly, you can bet your life savings on it responsibly. This week, we're going to keep it pretty simple. This show is coming out on Wednesday, the 3rd of December. So we got Thursday night football, we got Sunday night football, we got Monday night football, and I am very excited to share what I've got for you today. I'm going to be making the picks live here. I haven't decided anything ahead of time. We're going to be making them live. So Thursday night, tomorrow night, we got Cowboys at Lions. Money line is the Cowboys plus 150, Lions minus 180. We got the spread at -3 for the Lions, over under at 53.5. This is an interesting one for me to play. I think if the spread were 3.5, I would take the Cowboys because I feel like this is going to be a 3-point game. I have a hard time taking the favorite in a 3-point game, especially with how good the Cowboys have been playing. It almost seems like you can definitely count on the Cowboys to be electric in a primetime position. And something's not right in Detroit. But it does seem like nobody is going to be able to bounce back from, the most amount of losing they've done in, I think, 4 years, quite like Dan Campbell. Lions have not lost 2 in a row, I think, in 4 years. And now they got a home game, primetime spot against the Cowboys, they had it going on. Then they didn't really have it going on. Now they got it kind of going on again. There's just a lot going on there. I think the play is to go Lions minus 180. I'm going to take Lions money line. I don't want to count on them covering the spread. I think I'm just going to take them straight up. I'm not crazy about taking favorites. I just don't think there's any way the Lions lose 3 in a row and the third one's at home. I think that'd be 2 of the 3 at home. I don't see that happening in a primetime spot. Put me in Lions minus 180. That is what we're doing. Moving us over into Sunday night football, we got Texans at Chiefs. I don't know. I just love these 3 games so much. I really do. Texans at Chiefs. You got 2 teams that are in very interesting spots. You got the money line Texans are plus 145. Chiefs are minus 175. The spread is Chiefs minus 3.5. 41.5 at the over-under. I'm definitely taking the under here. The Texans defense seems to be legit. I mean, they've been proving that for weeks. The Chiefs seem to be able to buckle down and defend well when things are on the line, and it is do or die time for them. I mean, every week is going to be do or die for the Chiefs until they die, frankly. This could be the week. This really could be the week. I'm going to go under 41.5. And I'm going to take the Texans plus 3.5. That's going to be my play on Sunday night. I don't know. I think the Texans are a lot more legit than, I think they're on a 4-game win streak right now. CJ Stroud looked good on his first game back. The Chiefs, there's too much pressure on them to succeed. And I know if anybody can handle it, it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce, they got the tools, right? They have the tools. I just think it's been too long since their back was truly up against the wall in this way. And I think this is a game where I think technically they can lose one more game before they have to win every single game. I think this is the one. I think the Texans show up with a world-class defense. The Chiefs struggle. CJ Stroud does just enough to cover. Plus 3.5. I like it. The Chiefs might just pull it out. Maybe it's an overtime game, but I don't think the Chiefs are going to cover. So I'm going to go Texans plus 3.5 and the under of 41.5. I'm going to take the under there, which brings us into Monday night. We got Eagles at Chargers. Money line. Eagles are minus 142 favorites. Chargers are plus 120. Spread is Eagles minus 2.5. And the total at 40.5 for the over-under. I saw a video recently that was a young Asian woman talking about how if you picked the West Coast team anytime a East Coast, West Coast matchup is happening on a night game, which we have a prime time Monday night football game where we have the Los Angeles Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's as East Coast versus West Coast it gets. She said if you pick the West Coast team, whether they're playing East or West, doesn't matter. If you take the West Coast team, 68% of the time they will win. And that is a biological clock thing. How much does Vegas take that into consideration? I don't know. I'm going to ride with it because the Chargers are plus 120. And if I got any excuse to take an underdog, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take it. The Eagles have struggled a little bit. The Chargers are at home, which makes me feel even better about it. It's a primetime spot, West Coast team. I'm not even going to take their spread. I'm going to take them to win outright plus 120. And those are my picks. Those are my sure things of the week. Now, are they guaranteed wins or guaranteed losses? You're going to have to ride them to decide. But we're going to ride those. We're going to have a lot of fun. That is this first installment of the Uncommon Show. We got the sure things. We got the uncommon takes on the common news. We're talking golf invitationals. And at the end of the day, we're always encouraging people to be dreamers. So keep tuning in. We'll keep dreaming big. We'll keep betting money on things that we probably shouldn't because we don't know what we're doing. And we're going to keep talking golf. Until next time, I appreciate you for tuning in. Welcome to the Uncommon Show.